There is a world all around you, filled with creations that will amaze. A world of destinations that astound. A world waiting to be explored. Come and discover the unseen world. On today's episode of The Unseen World, how one man's vision of the future led to a 7-acre, internationally recognized visionary art environment.
The description that the book by Tom Patterson, St. Omen, the Land of Pasaquan, it's a pre-Columbian psychedelic wonderland. Or one of the locals say, someone fell in love with primary colors. My name is Charles Fowler and I'm a caretaker of Pasaquan. I live out here and I maintain the site, I run the social medias, I send artwork to museums, I do all types of things out here. So Pasaquan is a 7-acre art compound. It's one of the top 10 largest art environments in the United States, created by the artist Eddie Owens Martin, also known as St. Omen, the E is silent.
Eddie's artistic journey started at age 14 when he left his hometown of Buena Vista, Georgia, to embark on a hitchhiking adventure.
Eddie always felt like an outsider. You know, when he was growing up in the early 1900s, he felt like he didn't belong, he felt like he was different, and he got on his knees and prayed to God with a pink scarf around his neck, saying, could he be more unique than everyone else around here? And I guess his prayers were answered, right?
Who seemed to care. Someone had a love they wished to share. Oh.
But I think Eddie was dealing with the fact that he was coming to terms that he was gay. And then when he moved to New York, you know, he was able to come out, be a drag queen, prostitute. He decided that he would choose the vocations of not the everyday American, right? And which then continued to ostracize him from normal society. And then just constantly feeling like an outsider. And then when he had these visions and started researching different cultures and religions and applying some of those beliefs to his own self, it then continued to ostracize him further from people, you know. So I think that was just constantly feeling like an outsider, and he wanted to create a space for himself to belong. And then I think for anyone who also felt like an outsider could also belong too. And I think that's why he had a vision of this combination of like everyone coming together from the future. You know, it's this future tribe channeling to him, consisting of all races and all religions, forming this utopia, and that he would be the one to bring this idea forth to the future to save mankind. And he wanted to bring that forward, you know. And you know, all these ideas help form Pasaquan, his life experiences and what he wanted for the world.
The Unseen World will be right back. Now, back to the Unseen World.
If you look at photographs of Buena Vista, they pretty much did not look like Eddie. Eddie stood out like a sore thumb to a lot of the locals. And I wonder how much of the story he was telling them. at the time, you know. I know he was creating these mythologies about himself to protect himself, being a homosexual shaman in the Bible Belt. You have to be creative in ways to keep people who want to do harm or hate away. So I think people were building rumors about Eddie. And then you have people who believed in it, people who didn't. One local guy from Buena Vista, or Buena Vista to the locals, he said that St. Ohm was making up all of this. He was tricking y'all city slickers to get money from you. But then I met someone who was well versed in different forms of spirituality and meditation, and they for real believed in Eddie. Maybe he downplayed it to some of the locals, you know, and if you seem cool or hip to it, and then maybe he will then give the spiel to you, you know. And so I've seen like this sort of a change in attitude. When I was coming out here, you know, it was one of those things that people say, I don't mess with Mr. Martin, I don't mess with Pasaquan. But then after the Kohler Foundation came, they did a pretty great PR to change the minds of people. So depending on who you talk to, you may find someone who think it's all hogwash or it's completely real. I think I'm in between as an artist as well. I understand story building and stuff like that. And then, you know, I'm also mixed race. I'm half Filipino, half Caucasian. And to hear about like this racial fluid kind of utopian kind of future, it just resonated with me too. Like, I think the future is probably mixed. But I mean, you don't spend close to 50 years dedicated to one idea as intense as this, right? Or that's how I feel. So I definitely think he saw something and dedicated his life to it.
Eddie devoted himself to spreading the good word of his way of life, a religion he called Pasaquan. He envisioned a future where the many different religions and people of the world came together unified.
Eddie, you know, was looking at different cultures and religions when in New York after his vision in 1935. He started looking at the importance of hair to the chic culture, and he started to adopt some of those braiding techniques and beliefs of the hair acting as an antenna. And so he would take rice starch and would swoop his hair up into a point, and he believed that your hair acted as an antenna and it will absorb positive energies and good ideas, and if your hair is pointed up to the heavens above, you're more likely to receive more of those ideas. And I was told that when he started to lose his hair, he actually when he started to go bald, he started to braid his beard hair point upwards so that he can continue to receive. And I personally believed in that. If y'all came here a month ago, my hair would have been down here, but I got tired of it. So Pasaquanism is just a culmination of all like different religions and ideals of peace and coexistence. Eddie, though, didn't seem to have a following. You know, well, this is what we say, a guru with no followers, right? So this was more of a way of life for Eddie. And it was sort of, I think if I were to boil it down, it would be treat everyone with kindness, treat with love and respect, and to find your own voice in this world. You know, if you want to be a Pasaquan, cool, go ahead. If you don't want to be a Pasaquan, fine. As long as you are able to express yourself in the way you think you should express yourself. And I think essentially we're all Pasaquans that way.
Stay tuned. The Unseen World will return. We now return to The Unseen World. Eddie continued to work on the art environment for 30 years, creating 6 major structures, mandala murals, and more than 900 feet of elaborately painted masonry walls.
St. Ohm did not build this place by himself. He actually hired, what I was told, mostly young African-American men from the town of Buena Vista, and he paid his workers or assistants $10 an hour during the 70s. And some were rumored to be lovers, but I mean, for the time, I mean, he was paying these guys like a good amount of money. And he would also get volunteers, like Mercer University. There was a college summer course to stay out here for 2 to 3 weeks with St. Ohm and paint the walls or fill up bullet holes, patch up bullet holes from folks who probably didn't care for the site. So he had like a nice thing going on. He even had volunteers to bead up these necklaces, and he would sell it in Columbus, Georgia, or Americus, different farmers markets. He hired these folks to work out here. He did maintain direction, you know, he said, hey, this is what I want, do it exactly how I did it, but he let them have credit by signing parts of the walls out here. So it wasn't a solo project, you know, he started out here in his late 40s, and he definitely needed help because he would have cars pull up, people come here to get their fortunes told, and he would have to stop working. So if you're making a giant batch of cement and you have to go spend like 30 minutes telling someone's fortune, that cement's gonna go bad. So to maintain the pace he wanted, not to waste materials, he definitely needed to hire some folks to work out here. So Eddie, he would have people come out here. Before there was a chain link fence, people will just show up, you know, and he would tell fortunes probably from like 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you came afterwards, it's depends on how lucky you are, you know, because sometimes he'll be like, I'm done, come back tomorrow, you know, in a sing-songy kind of way of speaking. And there's one story, this one lady came here, and she kept protesting. She was like, sir, I drove all the way from North Carolina to come here. I would like to have my fortunes told. And he's like, I'm tired, please, please. And then he was like, woman, if you don't leave, I'll lay this pot on your head. And she came back the next day, you know. But yeah, so people just kept coming over here. But because he sometimes didn't know if someone was gonna show up, he had a sign up front that says, beware of bad dogs, honk horn, and wait until I come out. If you didn't honk your horn, you would have 2 ferocious German shepherds that he trained, by the way, to stay on his left and right side to protect him no matter what is out here. They would chase you back to your car if you didn't honk your horn, put the fear of whatever you believe in you, and he would come out 5-10 minutes later, probably because he's getting dressed, and he's laughing at you saying they don't bite unless you have bad intentions or bad thoughts. But if you did honk your horn, he would come out 5-10 minutes later, getting dressed up, Nina Boo at his side, and then he would greet you in and tell you your fortunes on this table. So in 2014, I was actually approached by the chair of the art department of Columbus State University to actually apply for an internship under the Kohler Foundation. And luckily they accepted me, and then they allowed me to work underneath the professional art conservators that they hired to be out here and to work on the site for 2 years, 2014 to 2016. And then Kohler gives, whenever they work on a site, they give it to an institution that will maintain the environment. So they gave it to Columbus State University, and then they needed a caretaker. I almost didn't apply, but someone called me an idiot, and I was like, okay, I should apply. So I did, and I've been here ever since. So thank you for that mean person. One of the first things that I was tasked to do as a lowly intern was to document every single color you see out here with Pantone swatches, Excel sheets, everything, the fun stuff. And so it took about maybe close to a month with 2 interns to document and photograph everything. And then we sent all that information to the Parma Painting Conservation. So there was 3 teams, International Artifacts, Parma Painting Conservation, and the contractor from Columbus, Georgia, Tim Gregory. So International Artifacts did object restoration, things with artwork on it we restored. We repaired it or prepared surfaces for Parma to then paint over. And so Parma then hand mixed every single paint you see out here from my Pantone swatches, and then they painted everything. And Tim Gregory did all the structural things, make sure that the floor is fixed, the tiles are redone, make sure the walls did not collapse on us while we were working. And then it took about 2 years for the entire restoration. So basically, as a caretaker, I just have to maintain the stuff now. I just watch some spots, see if I see too much cracks or fill the cracks up with caulking. I want to prevent moisture from getting into the walls, which could cause dirt to build up inside, which then could push the cement pieces to break. If I see any sinkage, if it's something that I can't handle myself, I can then contact the conservators who worked out here, work out a plan, and if I can't do it by myself, then we work to see if we could do a bigger project. So it's not as major as it was with the restoration, it's just maintaining is the constant part.
Stay tuned. The unseen world will return. We now return to the unseen world. Preserving the work and legacy of Eddie is no easy task.
Luckily, Kohler paid everything, right? So when they gave it to Columbus State, we are part of a university with some resources, so we try to think like sort of out of the box. What do we have that we can use? For example, we commissioned a 45-minute opera all about the life of Eddie called Eddie's Stone Song, Odyssey of the First Pasaquan by James Ogburn, who came out here, wrote this opera, and then we had 400 people show up just to see this performance. Then we have an artist residency program that we work with Columbus State to bring these artists from different parts of the world to respond to the work of Eddie. Not necessarily say recreate Pasaquan, but use this as a site to study, make some sketches, go back to their studios, and then make things. And we collaborate with different galleries and museums. So it's like through these different collaborations, we're pushing Eddie further out there, you know. But the bulk of the money that I get, though, is through either grants that my boss is amazing at, and through people who come to visit. You know, I get people who come here probably in the last 3 years, like 10 times, because they're bringing people out here. Like, people are energized, they love the site, and they bring friends, they bring families, and they all donate, and we're very lucky that they do that. So just through word of mouth, people coming out here, falling in love with it, and just giving what they can. So, and I will say one difficulty is being a museum that hardly changes. How do you keep it fresh for people? And that's sort of like these different events that we do. We actually started a little film screening series called Passive Vision, where we try to bring out different documentaries, and we showed a man named Pearl about Pearl Fryer. You know, we're doing poetry nights, movie screenings. We even have a music festival called Pacifest, which is a play on the word pacifist. So it's like a music festival to celebrate Eddie's life and continued upkeep of Pasaquan, you know, to raise money that way. And we want to just find ways to bring people out and to just enjoy themselves, see something new, and continue a relationship with our visitors. I've been getting more people of the LGBT community coming out here. These 2 young men got engaged out here because they fell in love with the story. And you know, it's just, that's the kind of thing that I see out here, just how the legacy of St. Ohm is touching people. And then I get families who come out here who say they've had a young son or daughter who is queer and committed suicide, and they read Eddie's story and they find some comfort that maybe their kid could have been this kind of person or have this kind of legacy. And they will sit across the table with me, because I'll usually sit right here in this robe, and we'll just talk about, you know, how art can heal or bring people together. And so there's so many great experiences that I've been having out here, and I hope that when people come out here, they feel something too, especially the art, but you know, everything.
If you'd like to visit Pasaquan, then head to Buena Vista, Georgia. For hours and pricing, visit pasaquan.columbusstate.edu. or call 706-507-8306. Find them on social media at Friends of Pasaquan on Facebook and Instagram.